The next type of stitch that we're going to do is completely different, and it is a stop stitch. So these are O beads, but you can do this with O beads, with pearls, with any bead that you want to place individually. So I'm going to pick up this little O bead, and I want it to lay flat. So the trick is, oh, I've come up through just about with enough space in between that angle here to place a bead, an O bead. It's not going to fit all the way up in that corner, but that's okay because I colored it with my Sharpie. And I'm going to pick up a seed bead. You can use a 15-0 or an 11-0 or an 8-0 depending on the design that you want to do, and drop it down on top. Then I'm going to skip over the seed bead and go back through the O bead. And what that's going to do is use the seed bead to pin down, become the O bead. The seed bead becomes a stop stitch. I think that's the name of the stitch. So I'm going to come up right next to it, but with enough space for the rest of the O. And do a couple more of these with you. I'm going to pick up an O and a seed bead and drop them down. I'm going to skip the O bead, and then I'm going to use my needle to decide exactly where I want that, and then I'm going to pin it in place where I want it. A little fine tuning allowed there. I love using a stop stitch. So don't come up too close to the next one. You've got to leave room for the whole O bead to come in. Pick up an O and an 11. Drop them down to the canvas. Skip the 11. Move that O where you want it. And stopper it down. So I am going to go, I decided I have just enough room between here, and you might not, and that's fine, to continue that line all the way around. And I did go ahead and mark that path with Sharpie, so I know where to go, and I don't have a lot of white showing between the O beads. Because they're a circle, they're going to leave a little bit of space between each one. And actually, oops, sometimes you'll do that too. So I have my thread coming out the bottom, and I went ahead and picked up my beads, and I see right away that that is an error. I'm just going to go back through them to get them off my thread. And don't forget to come up where you want to come up. I'm gonna leave in all of my mistakes so that you guys see that mistakes continue to happen and how to fix them when they do. And the bigger the beads that you're using, of course, the faster this goes. So we're going to make up some ground a lot faster than when we were outlining with seed beads. This is one of the reasons I love bead embroidery. It's so flexible. So beautiful. So forgiving. Nothing has to be exactly perfect. And again, when I go back through that O bead, I can make small adjustments on exactly where that's going to land. and be placed. All right, so adding O beads is just as easy as that. I'll show you how it works with a pearl here real quick, just so that you see it with a different type of bead. I'm not going to leave it on there. But I happen to have one sitting by. So you'll see it's the same philosophy. I'll add the pearl. Oops. And the seed bead. And then go back down through the pearl exactly where, and pin it to the fabric wherever I want it. And it works the same way. I like, so this, I would probably use a little smaller seed bead if I was doing a pearl. Use a 15-0 instead of 11-0, unless I wanted that, that extra texture on the top. All right, well, I'll get rid of that while you continue on around.